like you're under attack, this video is for you. Specifically, Duke. We'll call his name. We'll say it's Duke. Spoke with a spiritual superstar today who is definitely under attack and really needed to know exactly what to do for the type of attack that he's under. So there's a number of things that you can do, but I'm going to tell you the first thing that you have to do before you do anything in a minute. So, spiritual superstars, I'm Necole Anré'V, founder of Spiritual Guidance Academy, and did I just lose it? I think I did. But parents out there, it's so important that you don't do the cat and mouse thing and, toy with evil energy. Because make no mistake about it, when you're under a spiritual attack, it's evil energy that's attacking you. So I don't use black magic, the term, and I try hard not to say dark energy or anything like that, because history has said black means black, African American. And for the longest time, black magic has and still is connected to black people, African American people, people of color, which is simply not true. Evil is evil, and when you're under an attack that's spiritual, it is the opposite of divine energy. So let's get that clear and be very, very clear about that, especially if you feel like you're under attack. Evil energy attacks the most innocent, and that starts with babies and the elderly and anyone that is mentally unstable. So if you're dealing with, or if that person is dealing with any kind of mental health issues, evil energy finds that as a weakness. And so the first thing you do is decide that you are going to do something about it. And it may sound like that doesn't even make any sense. Of course you want to do something about it. That's not all the time. People don't always want to stop the attack. And that is because they know they've done something to initiate the attack. Yes. So sometimes you've messed with evil energy, and now it's coming back to bite you. So you got to be really, really careful about your connections, your affiliations, and your intentions. So you might be after the money, you might be after a person, you might be so bent on marriage that you lose all your morals and you connect with someone for sex, or because you just don't want to be single anymore. Whatever it is, it's in your intentions, it's your energy. So when there's an attack, a lot of times it's karma. It's like the payback. But is it just you? No. It's affiliation. So it can also be an attack based on who you're connected to and what they're doing. So it could be your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, the one you have children with. It could be your child. It could be your parents, for sure, because it's that frequency that they're on that is fueling the attack and could have initiated the attack, but you're connected to that person or those people, or you're living in the same house. It could even be a coworker. colleague, classmate, or another family member. But that association is serious. So the way that you know if it's an association is when you're around that person, when you go to their house, when you are around their space, you notice something's different. Like something is off, and then you know something's going on with them, because it only happens when you're around them, when you're in their house, when you are close to them. You feel negative energy. You feel like something is trying to get at you. And it can also manifest in the way that your children behave around that person, around those people, in that space. Pay attention to your children, for real, for real. And I don't care how old the baby is, pay attention to those babies, because they are the most innocent. And babies pick up on evil energy very quickly. You will see their pure energy totally shut down when it comes to anything evil around them. So check that out, people, especially if you're trying to let somebody around your children or your child. If your child or your children act like, they automatically frown up, or they just, and animals definitely know energy. So you got to really know that. The other thing is, I talked about not doing the cat and mouse thing. You definitely, once you recognize that you're under attack, there's no denying it. You cannot say, okay, maybe no. Once you get that understanding that there's something evil going on, it's waking you up in the middle of the night, it's scratching your back, it is screaming at you, it's causing you to be paranoid while you're awake, afraid to go to sleep, afraid to wake up. You can't do anything outside of feeling that fear. Then there's no going back to say, this can't be happening. Don't go into denial, because that's just feeding fear. So you really have to go back to deciding, I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to do something about this. This is not going to attack me. It's not going to attack my family. And you really have to decide. Again, I can't stress that enough. I have been coaching for about 10 years now, and I can tell you that these are the steps you have to take. But before that, I was under spiritual attack. And the first attack that I remember was really when I was 18. I had been in contact with energy that was not of divine source, was not of godly energy before that. But I was under attack when I was 18. And my mother had to contact the elders in our family and do some things, say some things, encourage me to say some things, do some things in order to stop that attack. So I'm telling you that you have to decide, and sometimes you're going to have to face that energy head on physically. So it's going to be the physical manifestation of that energy. So let's say someone you coached with, you worked with, you partnered with, is feeling some kind of way about you. And so now they put this energy out there, and you're feeling attacked. Or they're working with evil energy, and their intentions are to harm you, to harm your children, to harm your business, to harm your livelihood, your legacy, all of it. Then you have to sometimes approach them. Sometimes you're going to have to confront them. That's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because it takes that courage to find out really what they believe in and what they don't. Give you an example. When I was in college, that first attack that my mom had to really contact the elders in my family was this evil energy was trying to take my life, was trying to stop me from waking up. And you will find that when you're under attack, sometimes it will be so difficult for you to even breathe. And doctors won't even find anything medically wrong. You'll go through the steps that I talk about at Spiritual Guidance Academy, so you can rule all these things out. You have check marks. And once you realize it's spiritual, then you've got to do these things. So I confronted this person and asked her flat out what the elders asked me to ask first off. And it was because they asked me something very specific. They told me to ask her something very specific so that they could lower her defenses. And I didn't know that at the time. So it required me to ask her this so that they could start doing their work. And so, of course, Spirit was on it. Do you believe in God? Just that simple. She laughed at me and said, no, as if, of course not. Spiritual superstars, when I tell you I was so shook, I'm 18. Of course, everyone I know believes in God. So why wouldn't she believe in God? Black girl like me, I'm like thinking, of course. She's like, of course not. That shook me. But it was that courage that I had to have in order to face that energy, in order for the work to begin. And when I tell you you have to be on attack mode, you have to go hard. So, one of the things that you're going to do, yes, are use tools. But the one thing that you're going to always do is you're going to pray. You're going to pray. And all a prayer is a soul request. It is appreciation, gratitude. It is talking to God. It is bringing God into your situation. It's bringing God into your life. And once you have that, then you have to take action. So that simply means you do whatever your spiritual guidance says to do. When you pray and when you ask for spiritual help, God is going to tell you this is what you need to do. You must take action. You have to take action. One of the other third things the third tips that you definitely want to do in order to really kill a spiritual attack and attack back is you have to be loud. Evil energy does not like for you to be quiet, or they don't like for you to be loud. They want you to be quiet. They want you to live in fear. They want you to tiptoe around it, and they want you to be afraid of it. And when you're in fear of something, what do? You shy away from it, right? You're very quiet and reserved, right? You seclude yourself. You take yourself away from God, right? You have got to be like hard. You've got to really go hard on it. You have to attack back verbally. But see, all of this starts with your intention. So spiritual superstars, like I told my spiritual superstar client today, we'll call him Duke, he has a child that is also involved in it by default, okay? He has to go hard. He has to be loud. He has to say what I told him to say, and he has to do what I told him to do. Now, there are different rituals. I'll put it like that. A habit is a ritual. So if you jog every day, that's a ritual. If you drink your coffee with creamer, that's a ritual. If you pray a certain way, that's a ritual. If you eat rice and beans on every Monday, that's a ritual. So don't get the words twisted. Always remember your intentions. Your intentions are everything. That's your energy. So he has to say what I said to say. He has to do the ritual that I said to do. And this is handed down from my elders. I'm a seventh generational spiritual guide. And it wasn't handed down to everybody in the family. That's another thing you'll find, and we'll do that. We'll talk about that in another video. Elders don't hand everything down to everybody. They hand it down to who is the generational curse breaker and who can handle that work. Okay? So he has to do that, and he has to instruct his child to do some things. I told him that his child was already having dreams and needed to keep telling him what the dreams were. And he said, yes, his child is telling him these dreams because he is having these kinds of dreams that I said. And so, as a spiritual guide and as a coach, don't even try to coach anybody if you don't know anything about spirituality and you're closed-minded. Don't even do that to people because you're doing people a disservice, and there is no cat and mouse thing. There is no meditating everything away when you're under spiritual attack. It just doesn't work like that. So if you need help, you don't understand it, it scares you, it should. It should. You're part human, so it's going to scare you to some degree. And spiritual superstars, anybody that tells you they don't get freaked out by it is lying to you. If they act all confident and holier than thou, and they tell you it never scares them, they're lying to you. Or I would never refer you to anybody like that because it's just not realistic. It's unrealistic because nobody talking knows everything about spirituality, the spiritual realm. You don't. We absolutely do not. I know what I've experienced. I know what I have dealt with knowingly over 50 years of my life, and even having 5 decades of spiritual guidance expertise is how I live my life, knowing that I've got hand-me-down rituals and techniques and incantations, and yes, you can call them spells if you want to, but remember this, writing something down, that's spells. If you write anything in writing, that's spelling something. So that's a spell too. So I can say all of this stuff because I know what I'm talking about, but if you are never feeling that fear, something's wrong. I just want to make sure y'all know that. Let me be very clear with that, okay? What else? You're praying, you're being loud. You can use sage, absolutely. You can use olive oil, absolutely. You can use different essential oils, absolutely. But you definitely want to be clear in your intentions. And you want to understand this. This is the biggest point. When you're under attack, you cannot, and anyone that tells you differently, they're lying or they just don't know. Okay, they just don't know any better, and that's scary. So that's dangerous. So when you're under attack, you must remember it is not just a one-time action. You got to repeat it. You have got to keep going hard on it. And you will know that the tide has shifted when you start feeling, hearing, receiving your spiritually guided spiritual sensations, your communication on your right side. Okay? You will know that it has broke and you have passed over that crossroad because you're at a crossroad when you're being attacked. And you will know that you're doing everything right and that something shifted to your side and you are now above it, and you still have to keep climbing. You still have to keep climbing above it and staying above it, okay? So I hope that this has helped you. I got to get going, but that was on my heart and soul. And listen, spiritual coaches out there, if you don't know or if you question, can I really help my clients, then good boy, guten Jungen. Did I say it right? Guten Jana. right. Well, Guten Young now. He knows what I mean. Get with me. Join our certified spiritual life coaching class. Get into our membership because you're going to learn some things and you're going to learn how to help your clients. Okay? And it's serious. So don't screw anybody over. And I got to go. So I love y'all, and I'll see you very soon. If you have any questions, reach out to me, comment down below, and I'm here for you.